Hello and welcome. I'm Lori Clements, and this is the Hesed podcast. This is week 7 of our 8-week series, and our topic today is on forgiveness. In his book titled Overcoming Rejection, Frank Hammond wrote, "Forgiveness is a manifestation of love. Therefore, it is a manifestation of God, who is love. God's forgiveness of our sin is based upon His love rather than our merit," based on Romans 5:8. He also said God has no law against forgiving others, and the expression of our forgiveness slams shut the devil's door of opportunity in our lives. The devil cannot function in an atmosphere of God's love. When considering forgiveness, many people get stuck on the idea that the other person does not deserve forgiveness, or that if I keep forgiving them, won't I just become a doormat? We need to stop thinking like the world when it comes to forgiveness. We need to recalibrate to Jesus' normal. He teaches us to love our enemies, pray for those who persecute us, turn our other cheek. If someone asks of your coat, give him your shirt as well. Jesus was mocked, spit on, imprisoned, beaten, and brutally killed. Jesus understood that his freedom was on the side of forgiveness. His freedom was in the idea that nothing in this world can hurt his true self, that his ability to endure this world would bring him glory in the next. Jesus said, in Matthew 6:25, "For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it." To truly forgive, we need to place our faith in God, who is a God of justice. We need to trust that his ways are best. He wants us to forgive because it is the way into the kingdom. He warns us that if we do not forgive others, our Heavenly Father will not forgive us. If we want to walk in the kingdom, we need to walk in His kingdom, and that is to embrace forgiveness. I believe Frank Hammond explains it best when he says forgiveness is spiritual and aseptic. Just like with a physical wound, we need to treat it immediately for quick healing. When your child comes home with a scraped up, dirty knee, you would not leave it that way. If you did, infection could possibly hurt him much worse in the end. If forgiveness is our antiseptic, then when we are wounded by offense, rejection, disrespect, our first, most healthy response would be to tend to the wound. Do not let it fester or grow like an infection. Stop everything. Get alone if you have to, and as soon as you can. Let God in on this unpleasant feeling. Remember how Jesus forgave difficult people, and you are one of them. Remember that you are part of the group of radical forgivers. Then, forgive your offender. What does biblical forgiveness look like? Forgiving is releasing the other person from your judgment and wishing God's blessings on them. Like Jesus prayed, you can pray, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Luke 23:24. It is not sitting back and saying, "God, stay back, they need to suffer and bleed for this one." This is where loving your enemy would be useful. But every time the Satan tries to remind you of the awful person's offense, you refuse to agree with him and wish bad things on your offender. You say to yourself, "I release them, I love them, may God bless them." You might need to forgive them over and over again, because forgiveness is not a feeling, it is obedience. Now's the time to gather with your people and discuss forgiveness. Are there people in your life that you don't think you have the strength to forgive? Talk about it with your group and see if they can come around and joyfully help you have the courage to forgive that person. Well, that's it for week 7 of the Hesed podcast.